But the issue we are having is that the NDCs are not doing it from principal perspectives. You see, we have every reason to be suspicious, to complain, not necessarily because these people are not adequately qualified to be the Supreme Court, but the person who is making the appointment. The NDC people, including my good friend here, I'm sorry to say, are not arguing on principles grounds. So let's not quote Fifi. Let's quote him. I remember arguing this point with him on in November at TV3. I made it clear that the appointment was necessary. And I was arguing from principle perspective. I'm not going to depart from it. Increasing the number was good then. It's still good now. But the problem is there.
So I predicted that you're going to commend the president.
No, I'm not. Let me come.
But you say it's good.
No, I said increasing the number.
Okay.
But I said the problem is the person who is appointed.
Okay.
They are not principal people. Why was I saying so? If you look at England and that of some countries, few cases get to the Supreme Court. Sometimes the Supreme Court is even underutilized. But in Ghana, our filtering system is quite poor. So many cases get to the Supreme Court. In fact, we should have a group of people who will be dedicated to filtering these cases so that they don't even get there. But our filtering system seems to be very poor, maybe because of the nature of the Constitution and the nature of our law. So more cases get over there. So it was for this reason Tokono proposed it. And Amamba is saying that their complaint was because of the person who was making the recommendation. Again, which is not right, because there's nothing wrong with the Chief Justice making a proposal.
Cite it here in the Constitution. Tell me where the Constitution says Chief Justice can do that.
No, the fact that...
we are two lawyers here. When we are two lawyers, we talk law.
Your attitude to law is very, very poor. The fact that something says you can do something doesn't mean you can do it.
When a lawyer refuses to play the law,
I'm going to play the law more. When something is not explicitly forbidden, in law it is allowed. Unless something is explicitly forbidden. So it's not only the Chief Justice.
You are wrong. You are misinforming the people. When there's a laid down procedure. No, you are misinforming. When there's a laid down procedure,
but let him go.
You cannot go out of the procedure.
Give him the opportunity.
Yes, go ahead.
When you tell him to be quiet so that when I finish, you give him opportunity to respond. Otherwise, Ghanaians cannot understand.
I understand that. So
when something in law, when something is not explicitly forbidden, it is allowed. The Chief Justice can make proposal. The watchman looking after your house can make a proposal to the president. The farmer can make a proposal to the president. Every Ghanaian have got that right to make a proposal to the president. That proposal is not binding. Are you saying that the president's wife does not give him recommendations? The president is the final appointing officer who would select the names he wants. So the fact that you are making a proposal is not binding. So there's nothing wrong with the Chief Justice making this proposal. But you remember I was telling you, NDCs are not making it on principle ground. I argued with him on TV3. I made that particular point that there was a need to increase the number. And he said, no, I'm not going to do it. If you go to Ghana Web today, on 12 November 2023, we're not going to Fifi quote here. We are going to quote Amalaba. Amalaba gave some arguments. And what he said today is not what he said then. Look at it. You can go to a Ghana Web. So they call him constitutional and human rights activist. Mr. Ibrahim Amalaba has criticized the appointment of 3 additional judges.
They call me. How do you call me?
No, that's why I said they describe you here. I said they call you here as a human rights activist. Look at it. They said the human rights, the constitutional and human rights activists.
So they are not wrong.
Yes. Mr. Ibrahim Amalaba has criticized the appointment of 3 additional judges to the Supreme Court, describing it as needless and wasteful allocation of scarce resources. He argued that...
Which year was this?
2023, November 2023. Okay. Just last year.
So this was a view he held in 2023.
Yes.
Okay, you let him go.
He argued that while there is no specific limit to the number of judges that can be appointed by the president, maintaining the current number of the apex court, which is 13, should be sufficient. The state can do with 10. The state can do with 10, and now there is 13. It should be maintained, he said. Mr. Amalo expressed concern about the increasing size of the Supreme Court, especially at the time when the council is relying on International Monetary Fund bailout. We are still relying on it.
I'll respond to it.
The former director of legal affairs for the National Democratic shared his views during an interview on Accra 100.5. So I remember he said on TV3 with me, debating him, he said it was overbloated and there was no need for it. So I think their problem is that they cannot justify it on principle grounds unless they depart from their principles. And from what he's saying today, they don't even have principles. They argue depending on whose side they are. If they are in opposition, they have a particular argument. Then if they are in government, the argument simply change. As I said, as is served by the fact that because of the filtering problem, we have a problem. So maybe perhaps we need to amend to put an upper limit. And perhaps the upper limit was there to put it for people who are gentlemen. Apparently there is no, and people who have principles. You can see the gentleman attitude is gone. We can't work with conventions. So probably we need a hard law to tell people that this is how you ought to do things. So that is a problem. You were asking me to provide evidence of
the John Mahama one. Yes.
Modern Ghana reported 20th September 2023. Okay. The headline was, "Is President Mahama a danger to the judiciary in Ghana?"
Okay.
So you could even say,
who wrote that?
Modern Ghana.
Yeah, but that sounds more like an article.
No, this was, let me come.
Okay.
They are going to quote him. This was 20th September 2023. It said, ex-president and NDC presidential candidate, Mr. John Dramani Mahama, accused President Nana Akufo-Addo of appointing pro-MPP judges to the bench and called on pro-NDC lawyers to pursue vocations on the bench to achieve a balance. So yes, he has a problem with the judiciary.
But that is not the same as what you said earlier.
No, the point is that the general point, I'm going to read further, but the general point I was making is that they believe that making this appointment is necessary to balance things.
So these judges who have appeared before them are NDC. You are Sir John. No,
he said that.
Sir Dennis. You just said that Sir Dennis is a very good material.
Let me explain.
Is he MPP?
He spent about 10 minutes praising him.
The point I am making.
You spent 10 minutes praising the man.
No, the point I'm making is that in opposition, you said the Akufo-Addo have appointed pro-MPP members and advised your NDC members to pursue vocations on the legal profession. And then when you come, you will balance it.
Okay.
You said that. And if you are making an appointment now, are we stupid to know that you are not trying to say to implement what
but he wants to know whether if what you said in the past is what you're doing.
No. The president spoke to NDC lawyers. Wait. I am the founder of the NDC Lawyers Association. I founded it. He spoke on that platform and advised NDC lawyers. If these appointments were coming from that stock, then you can of course say that what you are saying. It's simple logic. If these appointments, it was Adawudu, it was me, because we were the recipients of his information, we received that, and now he's appointing us to the Supreme Court. They say, coming from the back of what he said, he's now practicalizing it.
Okay.
But these are career-trained judges who have been sitting at the Court of Appeal. You use 10 minutes to heap praises on Sir Dennis. When you finish here, he will call you and ask you, am I NDC? He will call you.
Okay.